fourth graders, and welcome to the video 4.3.3, Measuring Angles with Protractors. Now, you will need to go ahead and get a protractor out. It looks just like this. Okay? Yours may be a different color, or it may be wooden. Mine's plastic. But you make sure that you get one, okay? Now, I want you to take a few moments, and I want you to spend some time looking at the protractor and see what all do you notice about the protractor. You may notice that the bottom is flat, and then it's curved around the top. You may also see that there are two sets of numbers. The top set goes from 0 all the way to 180, and the one underneath goes from 180 all the way to 0. You may also notice that if you look at the pairs of numbers, they are all multiples of 10 and always add up to 180, like 150 and 30, or 70 and 110. So like 70 plus 110, that equals 180. And let's see, 150 and 30, that also equals 180. You may also notice that there are lines going from the bottom to every multiple of 10, and they spread out like a fan. Now, you want to get a copy of the paper. It's S39, and it says angle at the top. Go ahead and get that sheet right now. We're going to practice using our protractor to measure this angle. Now, let's think about it. How might we use this protractor to measure angles? There is an angle that we're going to practice measuring. See if you can figure out on your own how to use this protractor to measure this angle and how many degrees are in this angle. Besides the numbers on a protractor, there are two very important parts that you need to use. First, there is a center mark. This is the center mark, this small circle on your protractor. Next, there's a baseline. It's that part of the protractor that makes a straight line between the 0 and the 180 degrees. So we have the center mark and we have the baseline. Those are two very important things you must locate on your protractor before you measure an angle. To measure an angle, you want to lay the baseline of the protractor so that it matches the bottom ray of the angle. And then you want to slide your protractor until the center mark is right on top of the vertex of the angle. So I've got my center mark right there on the vertex of the angle, and I've got my baseline right over the bottom ray in a straight line, just like that. Make sure yours looks like mine. That way we can get an accurate reading of this angle. Now, how many degrees is the measure of this angle? And how do you know? Some of you may say, well, I think it's 75 degrees because the line crosses the protractor between 70 and 80. Some of you may say, but I'm a little confused. I agree that it's between 100 and 110, so could it be 105 degrees? Which one would it be? Would it come between the 70 and the 80? Or would it come between the 100 and the 110? These are good questions to figure out. So now we have to ask ourselves, how do we know whether this angle measures 75 degrees or 105 degrees? Some of you may say, well, it has to be 75 degrees because it's an acute angle. And you know that acute angles measure less than 90 degrees. So that is correct. This is an acute angle, so we know the measure has to be less than 90 degrees. As you start measuring angles, one way you'll know whether to use the correct number on the inner scale or the outer scale is to remember what an acute angle means, which means it measures less than 90 degrees, and to remember what an obtuse angle means, which means it measures greater than 90 degrees. So if this angle had been an obtuse angle, then we would have used the 100 to the 110. But because we saw that it is less than 90 degrees, it is smaller than a right angle, we know that we have to use the number that comes right in the middle of the 70 and the 80, and that is 75 degrees. Now, that is it for now, but you are getting ready to work on practicing this in your student workbook. All right, see you next time.